So welcome students for today's lecture. In today's topic we're gonna start our second unit, that is phase controlled converter. So in the second unit our first topic will be single phase 2 pulse full controlled converter R load. So we're gonna see the working and then what are the output waveform and what are the output voltage, either it is average voltage or it is RMS voltage, and how the output power and power factor are calculated. So these are things will be covered in today's lecture. So before starting to the lecture, so mainly now most of the industrial application are using adjustable DC power. So that is variable DC power. So we are using both fixed and then variable DC power. Main focus is on variable DC power, that is controllable DC power. That is our output DC voltage or current should be controlled by something. So wherever we are using or where we are using controllable DC power means we are using in DC motor drives, that is employed in paper mills or steel rolling mills, in traction system, mainly in DC traction system, and the electrochemical process, then portable hand tool drives. For example, if you take welding drives, welding for if you take power supply for welding, mostly it will works on variable DC power only, and then high voltage DC transmission. So for this purpose we are focusing on a controllable DC power. So how we are obtaining DC power? So either from DC generators or else directly from solar PV panels, or else mostly we are generating AC. So what we do is we will convert the AC into DC. So most of the time we are doing this conversion process, that is generating AC and converting that to a DC. So how we are converting or what we are using for the conversion? So mainly we are using rectifier, that is called AC to DC converter. The process of converting AC to DC is called as rectification. So mostly the rectifier converts the AC current to DC current. So this is a working, or this is a process that is can be done using a rectifier or a simple AC to DC converter. So if we take rectifiers, it is of two types. So first one is uncontrolled one and second one is controlled one. So what is the name, or how you are classifying whether it is uncontrolled or controlled? Mainly rectifiers can be classified either controlled or uncontrolled based on the switches used in the rectifier, and then what is the output DC voltage, whether the DC voltage is fixed one or variable or controllable one, or whether you are getting the DC voltage is a positive alone or negative alone, or both positive and negative. So based on things we can classify the converter or rectifier into uncontrolled one and controlled one. So if you come across uncontrolled converter, so here we will get the output DC voltage as a fixed one. So for a given AC voltage we will get a fixed DC voltage, and we will use diodes. For the uncontrolled converter mostly we will use the power diodes. Okay, so power diodes turns on. So power diodes get turns on when anode voltage is greater than cathode voltage, or simply you can say positive voltage is applied between its terminal, or in general you can say anode voltage is greater than cathode voltage. The diode gets on, it start conducting. So it stop conducting or it gets turned off when we stop applying the voltage, or if you the voltage across the anode is less than cathode, diode gets turned off. So this is a process involved in the diode. So here the turn on and turn off cannot be controlled by any external means. Based on the supply voltage, the diodes automatically gets turned on or automatically gets turned off. So that's why we are calling the converter using diodes as an uncontrolled converter. So if you come across controlled converter. So here the output is mainly adjustable. So based on our what do you say, the desirable voltage. For example, if I need a voltage 200 DC for 2 minutes, after 2 minutes I need a voltage of just 50, and then after 3 minutes I need a voltage of 250 means we can make use of control converters, where based on the on and off of your switch you can adjust the output voltage. This cannot be done in uncontrolled rectifiers. So in normal diode bridge rectifier you cannot simply change the output by changing anything in the diode or anything in the load side. So if you want to change the output voltage, output DC voltage, you have to change the input AC voltage. In any other means you can't change the output in control converter, but in controlled converter we can change the output DC voltage. So how what we are using? So we are making use of thyristor. So thyristor can be turned on whenever the anode voltage is greater than the cathode voltage. That's the one thing. And you have to apply some gate pulse. Based on the gate pulse, thyristor get turned on. Even though the anode voltage is greater than cathode voltage, if you are not applying any gate pulse, means the thyristor won't turn on. Similarly, if you give a pulse, it will get turned on. So after removing the pulse and after the current becomes negative, the thyristor gets turned off. So you cannot turn off the thyristor by any means. So based on the current value, it will get automatically turned off. So here the switching on of the thyristor can be controlled by the gate pulse. So converter which uses a device, which uses a thyristor, and called as a controlled converter. So again, controlled converter can be classified into fully controlled or semi-controlled. So in semi-controlled, you will get the DC voltage or adjustable DC voltage for only positive values. But for fully controlled, you will get the adjustable DC voltage either in positive or in negative or in both. So here all the switches will be thyristor, but in semi-controlled it's a mixture of thyristor and diode. So now our concentration will be mainly on fully controlled. Before that, so we will focus on the working of uncontrolled converter, so which you already studied in the electronic circuits and devices subject. So this is a diode bridge rectifier, this full way rectifier, which will rectify the both positive off cycle and negative off cycle of the input AC voltage. Similarly, there is another topology called center tap topology. So here we are making use of two diodes and we are making use of a central tap transformer. So either any of the topology can be used. So now we are concentrating, or we're gonna study about the working of normal full way diode bridge rectifier. So the positive off cycle. So if you take the input, so input we have both positive off and negative off for a single cycle. So if you take the positive cycle alone, so diode D1 and diode D2, so both are forward bias. Similarly, diode D3 and D4 both are reverse bias, so it gets turned off. So diode D1 and D2 gets turned on. So the current will travel through the source, will travel through D1 and then to load, and again from D2 it will just again left to or leave to neutral. So it starts from phase and it will travel from D1 load and D2, and again it will get existed at neutral. So waveform will be only positive waveform in the input supply. This alone will be rectified. How it's getting is just the voltage drop across the load. So whenever the current travels through the load, there will be some voltage drop across your load. So the positive off will get rectified and the output will be like this for positive off cycle. So this is for first cycle and this is for second cycle. So for the negative off cycle, so during the negative off cycle, so here it will be neutral connection and here it will be phase connection. So diode D1 and D2 will get reverse bias because here the voltage is negative and here the voltage is positive. So diode D3 and D4 get forward bias. So the current will travel from phase to D3, from that to load, and from that to D4. Again it will get exist the neutral. So if you take the negative off cycle, it will get rectified and the output voltage will be again positive. So why we are getting positive voltage for the negative off cycle? If you see the current direction, it will be from this side to this side. So the direction is always positive even though the input is negative. So everyone say uncontrolled or bridge rectifier is a unidirectional rectifier. The direction of current will be always positive, always will be in a single direction. So the resultant output for both positive off cycle and negative off cycle will be like this. That is a pulsating unidirectional DC output. Using certain capacitor as a filter, we can convert this pulsating DC waveform to a pure DC waveform like this. So by applying some suitable filter, connecting suitable filter parallel to our load, we can convert the pulsating DC into a pure DC. So based on the charging and discharging time of the capacitor, it will get we will get a pure DC waveform. So this is a working of a single phase full bridge uncontrolled converter. So here we are using diodes. That's why we are telling this is a uncontrolled. Based on the AC voltage, we will get a fixed DC voltage. So this can be redrawn as like this. So the topology both are same, but the circuit is redrawn. So here we are connecting this as a bridge, but in this circuit, we change the topology. Sorry, the connection and all same. So you can simply say diode D1 and D4 was connected to phase, diode D3 and D2 was connected to neutral. Here also same thing. So phase was connected to D1 and D4 and neutral was connected to D2 and D3 and the load was connected between positive point is connected to D1 D3 and negative point was connected to D4 and D2. So similarly also here D1 and D3 is connected to positive point of the load and negative point of the load is connected to D2 and D4. So the both are same, the connection are same. So why we are going for this connection is for the better understanding of next topic, that is controlled converter. So that's why I'm introducing this topology. So we will follow the same for upcoming slides. So before that, so we already know about the diode and working of the diode. So for the controlled converter, mainly we will use thyristor. So for that we gonna just see the introduction about thyristor. So thyristor can be also called as SCR, that is silicon control rectifier. So it is a 3-junction device. So you can see the construction of thyristor. So here there is a 3-junction. So 1 and 2 and 3. It also we have 3 terminals: anode, cathode, and then gate. For diode, we have only 2 terminals, anode and cathode. For the thyristor, we have another terminal, that is that terminal, gate. So this is a control part. So based on the triggering, the on and off of your thyristor can be decided. So this is a circuit symbol for your thyristor. So here extra compared to your diode, here we have an extra terminal called gate terminal. So already we told right, I told right. So the SCR conducts when anode voltage is greater than cathode voltage, and you have to apply some firing pulse to the gate. That's the one thing. And SCR get turned off whenever you remove the gate signal, and anode current should be becomes negative or should fall below the holding current. Holding current is nothing but after below the current value below holding current will turn off your SCR. So that is called holding current. The current which makes the SCR to turn on is called latching current. So we will see detailedly about SCR in our lecture. So just for this we need these 2 points. So when SCR gets turned on and SCR gets turned off. This is all we need for this lecture. This is a single phase full wave bridge converter. So this is in This one is a uncontrolled rectifier because we are using diodes. This can be converted to controlled converter when you replace the diodes, that is D1, D3, D2, D4 by thyristor. So if we replace the diodes by thyristor, it will change into controlled converter. So this is the circuit diagram of a single phase full controlled converter with R load. So because we are using the load as a resistive load, and here we have 4 ACRs. So 2 ACRs are connected in series and the branches connected in parallel with another set of ACR that is connected in series. So here the phase was connected between ACR1 and ACR2 and neutral was connected between ACR3 and ACR4. So each ACR has a separate gate pulse, that is G1, G2, G3 and G4. So G1, G2, G3 and G4. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna trigger the ACR based on our desired output voltage. So by changing the firing angle of ACR, we can control the output voltage across the R load. So this one we can do, and we will see how that is done. So mainly here what we will do is we will trigger any two ACRs per half cycle. So if you take a 50 Hz AC waveform, it has two off cycle, that is positive off cycle and negative off cycle. So our aim was to trigger any two ACRs for each off cycle. For example, in this we are going to trigger SCR1 and SCR4 for the positive off cycle and SCR2, SCR3 for negative off cycle. So the triggering angle difference, so here we are telling us positive and then negative. So positive for 1 and 4 and negative for 2 and 3. So that is a phase difference of 180 degree. So after the completion of first cycle, the triggering pattern will be get repeated. That is, so 1 4 2 3 1 4 2 3 1 4 2 3, like this. It is repeated for each cycle. So for the continuous operation, so what we will do is we will trigger the thyristor in alternate pairs throughout the cycle. So here output voltage is mainly depend on the firing angle, or you can say that is a delay angle when the thyristor gets triggered. So if the firing angle alpha is 0, means it will simply act as normal single phase full wave uncontrolled bridge converter. So based on that firing angle, the output voltage can be controlled. So let us see how the current travels when you trigger the thyristor 1 and 4. So the current will travel from phase, will travel to SCR1, then it travels to load. From the load again it will travel to SCR4. To SCR4 again it will reach the neutral. So this is the path of the current. So during this time SCR2 and SCR3 both will get turned off, that is they are in open circuit. So this one SCR1 and SCR4 will be in short circuit. So the current will travel in the given arrow direction. So when the thyristor, that is SCR2 and SCR3, so when these two thyristors get triggered, so at the same time the current across SCR1 and SCR4 will reach the negative value, so it gets automatically turned off. So the now the current will travel from phase. So here in the negative off cycle, this will be phase and this will be neutral. So phase to SCR3, through the SCR3 it will flow through load, from load it will flow through SCR2, from SCR2 it will exit at neutral point. So this is the direction of flow of current for the negative off cycle, or when the thyristor 2 and T3 get triggered. So this will make a voltage drop across the R load. So this will give the output DC voltage. So based on the triggering angle, the value can be varied. So this is the output waveform. So first one is an input AC voltage waveform. That is the input side which is supplied from our side. So for AC to DC, so AC will be the input. So here we are taking, or we are gonna see about only the supply voltage, that is voltage waveform alone. We are not gonna deal about the current waveform. So this is the input supply voltage waveform. So next one. So this is the point at which the firing angle is triggered. So the blue color symbol represent the pulse is when the thyristor 1 and thyristor 4, these two are get triggered. So for the positive of cycle, we are triggering thyristor 1 and 4. So you can see here. So this one for first cycle and this one for second cycle. And similarly this one for triggering of thyristor 2 and thyristor 3. So you can see this was the Ig1 and Ig4 was triggered at the angle of alpha. So Ig2 and Ig3 was triggered at the angle of pi plus alpha. So the difference between the triggering of 1 and 4 and 2 and 3 is 180 degree. So you can simply see from the graph. Similarly for the next cycle, if you take the firing angle was 2 pi plus alpha, here it was 3 pi plus alpha. So first of all, just consider this point alone. So before alpha, so from 0 to alpha, you can see there is no output voltage or no output current, because at this time all the 4 SCRs are in off condition, so it won't contact. So the output voltage was 0 and output current was 0 during the interval of 0 to alpha. So at alpha we are triggering SCR1 and SCR4. So this will make the conduction of SCR1 and SCR4. So we already saw in the previous slide, like flow of current in SCR1 and 4 are triggered. So it will follow the output voltage. Sorry, it will follow the input voltage. So you can simply compare the input voltage and output voltage. So it get rectified after this point. So after this point it get rectified and it follow the voltage of our input voltage. So till this point SCR1 and SCR4 will conduct. So after this point the input current will becomes negative. So once the current gets negative, so SCR1 and 4 will get turned off. So that's why there is a zero conduction from the angle pi to pi plus alpha. So in this interval the output is 0. Why? Because already already thyristor 2 and thyristor 3 are in turn off position. So now thyristor 1 and 4 get turned off. So for that we are getting a 0 output voltage and 0 output current. So after that, that is at pi plus alpha, so we are triggering thyristor 2 and thyristor 3. So this will make the thyristor 2 and thyristor 3 to conduct, so which will gives an output voltage that will follow the negative side of your input voltage. So this is a negative cycle of our input voltage. So this will get rectified from this point. So you can see from this point it will get rectified and it was converted to a positive voltage, because mainly the rectifier is a unidirectional device. So here we are getting a positive voltage. So this will get repeated for next cycle, that is for 2 pi plus alpha. So again thyristor 1 and 4 get triggered, and at 2 pi thyristor 2 and 3 will get turned off. So we are getting a 0 voltage at this point. So since we are having a load as a resistive load, so our current also follow the voltage waveform. Since for resistive load the both voltage and current, so both are in phase. That's why the voltage waveform, if you see the voltage waveform and current waveform, both are in phase. So the difference in the current, so here you can see the peak is more for the voltage and it was less for the current. So that is as per Ohm's law. So I is equal to V by R. So there was a decrease in the current value compared to the voltage value, but the waveform that will be same for both voltage and current. So this is the output voltage and output current waveform with the given firing angle for the full converter. So same thing, but here we gonna see about the voltage across thyristor. So that is thyristor 1 and 4. So this will give the voltage across thyristor 1 and 4 when it is turned off. So we already told, right? So from 0 to alpha, both pairs is T1, T2, T3, T4. So 4 thyristor got turned off. So the voltage across thyristor will follow the waveform. So T1 and T4 will follow positive. So this is the voltage across thyristor 1 and 4 for the positive of cycle, and in the positive of cycle voltage across T2 and T3 will be negative. Why? Because if you see the diagram, so during the positive of cycle, so we are connecting the neutral to thyristor 3 and phase to thyristor 2. So if you measure the voltage, so both voltage will have a negative voltage. So that's why the waveform here is following a negative one. So after that, that is after positive of cycle, during the negative of cycle, so thyristor 1 and 4 will follow the neutral and phase waveform, that is same as of your input voltage. Thyristor 2 and 3, so it will have a reverse voltage, that is positive voltage from pi to pi plus 4. After that it gets turned on, so there is a zero voltage. So the voltage across thyristor will be zero when the thyristors are turned on. So in the previous slide you see, so from alpha to pi the thyristors get turned on, and even for pi plus alpha to 2 pi it's get turned on. So similarly you can see, so pi plus pi to alpha to pi, the SCR is, the voltage across SCR is 0. Similarly here from the interval pi plus alpha to 2 pi, the voltage across SCR is 0. So during turn on, voltage across any switch will be nearly 0 for ideal switch. If it gets turned off, it will be equal to the input supply voltage. So this is the graph for that when your thyristor are turned off, what is the voltage across the thyristor. Average DC output voltage. So now our assumption was, so we have taken the input AC voltage, that is Vs, as Vm sin omega t. So here the Vm is the maximum voltage and sin omega t will follow the sine waveform, that is the waveform with the maximum value of -1 to +1. Okay. So here the input is Vs equal to Vm sin omega t. So before that, what is average voltage? So average voltage is nothing but the area occupied by the waveform, so divided by the total time period. So here the area occupied by the waveform is the area occupied from the angle alpha to angle pi, that is this one. So just a minute. So this is the area occupied, so we have to concentrate on this one now. So here the total time period, so here the total time period is 0 to pi. So because here the cycle is repeating from 0 to pi, you can see the same shape is repeating for every 180 degree. So the time period is pi. So based on the formula, so 1 by pi integral of alpha to pi Vm sin omega t. So here the x-axis is mainly not only with respect to time, it is with respect to omega t. So here we are differentiating, we are integrating with respect to omega t. So here if you are integrating sin omega t, it will be equal to minus cos omega t. That is nothing but integration of sin is equal to minus cos. So minus cos omega t. Here lower limit is alpha, upper limit is pi. Just substitute the limit. So minus cos pi. So already there is a minus. So minus of minus will become plus. So plus cos alpha. So we have taken Vm as a, since Vm is a constant one, so we have taken that as an outside before the integration process. So the final value will be for cos phi the value is -1. So minus of minus will be +1. So the final answer will be Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha. So this is the average DC output voltage. For a bridge rectifier or else full wave uncontrolled rectifier, the alpha will be equal to 0. So if you substitute alpha is equal to 0 in this formula, the value will be 2 Vm by pi. So that is the average output voltage of a full wave uncontrolled rectifier. Okay. So now our aim was to find average DC output current. So average DC output current is nothing but average DC output voltage divided by the total resistive load, that is load resistance R. So V0 by R, already we know the value of V0, that is Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha. So dividing by R, we will get the average DC output current, that is Vm by pi R into 1 plus cos alpha. So next our aim was to find RMS DC output voltage. So RMS voltage is nothing but square root of area of the squared waveform divided by the time period. So here also we gonna deal about the same output voltage waveform on the same time period. So here also the time period is from 0 to pi and the area is between alpha to pi. But here we gonna concentrate about the square of the area, the square of the waveform, the area occupied by the square of the waveform. So we have represent the square root 1 by pi alpha to pi Vm sin omega t whole square into d omega t. So here Vm square is a constant, so we can take it out from the integral. So Vm square by pi alpha to pi sin square omega t into d omega t. So everyone know the formula, right? So cos 2t is equal to 1 minus 2 sin square t. So now we need of sin square t. So because we don't know, the integration of square be much complex, so we are just converting that to a normal variable with a power of 1. So from this we can take sin square t. So sin square t is equal to 1 minus cos 2t by 2. So just substitute the value here. So that is 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2. Just integrate the same. Before integrating, just take the 2 as a common point. So here we can take in the 2 out of integration. So Vm square by 2 pi. So if you are integrating 1, it will be equal to omega t. And if you are integrating cos 2 omega t, it will be equal to sin 2 omega t by 2. Now substitute the limits. So pi minus sin 2 pi by 2 minus alpha minus of minus, which will be equal to plus sin 2 alpha by 2. So sin 2 pi is equal to nothing but 0. So this term will get eliminated, or we can substitute 0 for this term. So the answer will be pi minus alpha plus sin 2 alpha by 2. So into Vm square by 2 pi, that is a overall square root. So the final RMS voltage will be equal to Vm by root of 2 pi into pi minus alpha plus sin 2 alpha by 2. So this is the RMS output voltage of a full wave controlled rectifier. Similarly, like we saw in the previous slides, there just substitute alpha is equal to 0. So if you substitute alpha is equal to 0, this term will become 0, and here it will be root pi. So root pi will get cancelled. The answer will be Vm by root 2. So which is the RMS output voltage of uncontrolled bridge rectifier. So if you put alpha is equal to 0, we will get the RMS voltage of an uncontrolled bridge rectifier. So next one. So RMS DC output current, same as of our average DC output current. So I0 RMS is equal to V0 RMS by R. So we already found the value of V0 RMS, that is Vm by root 2 pi into root of pi minus alpha plus sin 2 alpha by 2. So as per Ohm's law, Vm by R is equal to Im. Okay, so just replace the value Vm by R by Im. So the value of RMS DC output current will be Im by root of 2 pi into root of pi minus alpha plus sin 2 alpha by 2. So this is the RMS DC output current. So finally, that is output power. So we know the value of formula for that is nothing but product of voltage into I current, that is VI or I square R or V square by R. So anything we can use, but for the voltage and current we want to use RMS voltage or RMS current. So you can use any of the three formula given here for the output power. So for power factor, is for the input side. So input side power factor we are calculating. So that is based on the output by input. That is power delivered to the load and then input volt amps. So this is the formula for your power factor. So power delivered to the load is nothing but that is output power, which is equal to V naught RMS into I naught RMS. So input VA is nothing but the supply voltage into I naught RMS, because in RMS voltage or RMS current we will tell, right, DC equivalent will be equal to the AC equivalent. So that's why we are using I naught RMS for the input VA. So I naught RMS will get cancelled. So power factor will be V naught RMS by Vs. So Vs is supply voltage. So you can simply replace Vs by Vm by root 2 and V naught RMS by the formula we have already obtained. So here Vm cancel and root 2 cancel. The final answer will be 1 by root of pi into root of pi minus alpha plus sine 2 alpha by 2. So this is the power factor for your full wave controlled rectifier with resistive load. So this is a same full wave controlled rectifier with R load, but here we are using a midpoint controller. That is nothing but we are using a center tap transformer. So it is similar to a center tap full wave control rectifier, just replacing the diode with thyristors. So here we have only two thyristor. For the positive off cycle we will trigger the thyristor T1. For the negative off cycle we will trigger the thyristor T2. So this circuit and the circuit we have seen in our previous slide, that is a full controlled full wave controller. So both can be called as two pulse full converter. Why we are telling that as a two pulse? Because for the positive off cycle we are giving a single pulse, and for the negative off cycle we are giving a single pulse. So for a complete cycle we are making use of two pulses to control the final output voltage. So this circuit and the circuit we have seen previously, this one, okay. So these two circuits can be called as a two pulse full control converter with resistive load. So these are the things we have covered in our today's lecture. So we started with the application of variable DC power, and then what is AC to DC converter and what are the types, that is controlled and uncontrolled. So we saw about the operation of uncontrolled bridge rectifier, that is mainly focused on single phase and the two with R load, that is resistive load. After that we move on to single phase full controlled rectifier, mainly with the resistive load. So the difference is here we are using diodes and here we are using thyristor. Based on the triggering point, the output voltage is controlled or adjust in the control rectifier. And then finally these are the output waveforms, both output voltage and output current, and then voltage across the thyristor during the complete cycle, and finally the derivation of the average and RMS voltage and current, and then output power, then power factor. So these are the things we have covered in our today's lecture. So kindly go through the video again, or else just go through the PPT again and attend the MCQ posted in our classroom. So based on your answers I can understand how much you guys learn from this lecture, or how you understand the concept. So based on your answers I can understand. So just complete the MCQs. Thank you guys.